Hi, welcome back to A Light in the Dark. My name is Stephanie, and this is part 4 of my faith journey. In this video, I'm just gonna see what the Lord wants me to share. But I know in the last video I shared about my childhood, growing up, friendships, situations, some of them, and my schooling situation. I did have a couple of situations that happened in high school with another friend, where I got myself into a couple of situations that I regretted. And one particular event was I allowed myself to be influenced to drink alcohol and get drunk. And it was never my desire ever to consume alcohol. I didn't enjoy it by any means. I didn't understand it. I remember first time I tried even just wine was at a wedding, and I just tried it just to try it, and I was like, ew, like how can anyone drink that? It's not even good. So I had absolutely no desire, and I had no desire to get drunk. Like it just was never a desire of mine. Just wasn't. I never felt like there was a pull towards it. So, and neither of my parents drank. It was very rare they had any alcohol in the house. I think there was a few times my dad maybe had some wine. But yeah, it was very rare, and I never saw my parents get drunk. That was just not something that I witnessed at all. And like I said, I had no pull, no desire. However, I had one friendship where that was a completely different story for her in her home life and her people that she grew up with that surrounded her, including her own parents, her siblings. It was something that looked appealing to her. It was something she wanted to dabble in, but she didn't really voice this to me. But there was a couple of times that I was hanging out with her at one of her sister's houses, and they were gonna drink that evening. And at first, like, they offered me to try a drink, and I was like, no, absolutely not. There's no way I'm drinking. Like, no. I was pretty firm. I was pretty adamant that there was no way I was going to drink. And they kind of just continued to pressure, like, oh, just give it, just have a sip, like, just try it, like, it's not gonna kill you to have a sip, like, just try. And because they were relentless, I finally caved, and I was like, fine, I'll just have a sip. So I had a sip, and then I don't even know, but I think then they were like, oh, you should just finish it. And I was so naive. I didn't know how little it took, or it would take, for me to get drunk. So I think I just finished the drink thinking, whatever, like, one drink isn't gonna kill me, whatever. I don't even know. But I think perhaps, like, I can't even recall, but perhaps there was, like, even, like, these little dares, like, take a sip if you do this. And I know as the night progressed, we started playing these games as well, where it was like, if you lost, you had to take a drink. And so one thing led to another, and it didn't take long for me to get drunk. And once I was drunk, I completely lost all inhibition, like they say. And suddenly that conviction I had was gone, completely gone. And I just continued to drink. I got so drunk that night that I lost consciousness. I don't remember half the night. I apparently was so drunk that they were worried that I had alcohol poisoning. They were holding me up over the toilet, and they even dropped me, and I chipped my tooth, the corner of my front tooth, on the toilet seat. I earned the nickname Potty Mouth for a good long while, among those peers that knew. And I just woke up feeling absolutely awful, just so ill, so sick. And I was so full of regret. Like, I didn't even want to drink. And this is what happened. And I could have even died. I could have died from alcohol poisoning. And on top of that, I had a little bit of concern because we had been hanging out with a few people with us that night. And I know that one was this cousin of hers who was older than me, and I trusted him like a friend, but I knew he kind of liked me. And after that night, like, he was kind of looking at me, the next day we were just kind of watching a movie because we were all like hungover, and I kept noticing he was kind of looking at me, and I just didn't have a good feeling. And then my friend told me that was left alone after I passed out with this older cousin of my friend's, and she basically insinuated that she didn't know what might have happened between us. And I was like, what? Like, you would allow that? You would allow me to be left alone with a man, with an older guy? Like, I wasn't even that old. I don't even know. I'm gonna guess around 15, maybe 16. I don't even know. I'm gonna say I was in like maybe grade 9, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, this friend, she wasn't a constant friend that I had at school, but she was a friend who I knew for a long time. And yeah, I didn't hang out with her a lot, but at this time in her life, she had a lot of negative influence in her life, and unfortunately, it became a very negative influence on me. And it really upset me that happened. That she talked me into getting involved in this really, really bad situation. And I was seriously like so distraught about it because I never wanted to drink in the first place, and I certainly didn't want to have any involvement with a boy, in any case, like in any regard. I knew, I had always known I wanted to save myself from marriage, and I would only, be with the man that I was gonna marry. Like, that literally, and I'm not saying that anything did happen, but just the fact that I felt like I was violated in some way to even be left alone with somebody. I mean, at this point, I was basically completely unconscious. I was probably completely passed out. But the fact that they didn't protect me, you know, I had trusted this cousin of hers up to this point. Seemed like a nice guy, but like I kind of viewed him more like a brother. But yeah, that really upset me. And I kind of knew he couldn't have done too much, but it still felt like I was violated to some degree just to be left alone with him at all. So that was very concerning to me and very upsetting. And I was upset with myself for allowing that to happen, allowing myself to be in that situation. Like, I told her I was really upset about that whole night, that whole situation, and she pretty much promised that wouldn't happen. She wouldn't allow that to happen again. So I kind of, you know, forgave her and gave her another chance. And so this other night, I was hanging out with her, and we ended up meeting with some other friends that she knew. I didn't really know them, and found out that one of them had gotten some alcohol, some hard alcohol, and they went to a park, and you know, I was just with them because I was with my friend, and once again they were trying to pressure me to take a drink, and I was like, no, there is absolutely no way. I do not want to get drunk. I do not want to drink. That stuff is just, it smells like poison. Like, I don't want to drink that. It was like R&R, really hard alcohol with no mixer, like just straight R&R. It's just awful. Anyways, I was like, no, don't even put that anywhere near me. Like, I don't want to have anything to do with this. And I even told my friend, like, hey, I don't really feel comfortable with this situation. I don't really want to be here. But I kind of also thought, like, I'm not going to allow that same situation to ever happen again. So I trusted myself that I wouldn't allow that to happen. But I also kind of felt trapped, like I didn't have a choice in the matter because I was with my friend. I was still young enough, you know, at that point we didn't have cell phones. You know, it was kind of in the middle of nowhere. We both lived out of town. We happened to be in town. I can't remember specifically why. But at any rate, they all began to pressure me to drink once again. And when I kept refusing, they just were hounding me more and more and more. And I was like, okay, just to shut you guys up, like just so you will lay off of me, I'll just have one sip, just so you guys will, you know, because they were like, just take a sip, a sip's not gonna kill you, once again, right? And I was getting so annoyed with them pestering me that I thought maybe they'll lay off if I just take one sip, right? What's one sip gonna hurt me? But boy, was I wrong. And so I caved to the pressure, and I was like, fine, I'll take one sip, whatever, you know, maybe you'll lay off me, I'm thinking. So we were like on this playground. Whoever had the bottle was on the playground. We were kind of on this playground in this park, and right when I said that I would do it, and I was lined up to take a sip, it's like everyone that was there was at least 6 of them, if not more, that went right around me. And as I took the sip, they took a hold of the bottle above me and they surrounded me so that I couldn't control what was happening. And they literally held it above, and it went straight down my throat. I couldn't even swallow because it went straight down. And it burned so bad all the way down, and they held it there for a good 10 seconds. And it was awful. And it hit my stomach, and it was so potent. It just felt like my gut was just burning up, and my throat was on fire, and it just hurt, and it was terrible. I just was, it was horrible. And anyways, and I'd never even had hard alcohol, especially straight up, something like that before. So it was just dreadful experience. And I of course was livid, because I'm like, I was just gonna have a sip, and you guys forced me to drink way more than a sip. And again, I was pretty naive, but within half an hour, they clearly got quite a bit in there, because within half an hour I was already drunk. I was still conscious at this point, but I again lost my inhibition. And then they offered me something else, and I drank it, and I'm pretty sure I smoked something. I'm pretty sure I had marijuana. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure I was smoking something. I completely lost inhibition after I got drunk. Both times went into it not wanting to drink at all, not wanting to get drunk, had no intention at all. And but I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I allowed the wrong people to influence me. And once again, I was in a situation where this other boy that clearly liked me, again, was a nice kid and all when I knew him when I was sober, but I didn't know him well. And I got the sense that he liked me, and he was basically left to take care of me the rest of the night. Because my other friend also got drunk. She couldn't take care of me. And once again, I don't even know exactly, I don't remember the whole night. And so after those two experiences, I was done with being her friend at that point. I was like, I can't trust you. I can't hang out with you. It's 2 times now, and I absolutely, it really, really bothered me. It really, I really, once again, felt very violated, very, she totally broke my trust again, putting me in this situation, not protecting me, not, not respecting my wishes, to not be in that kind of situation again. So it was very upsetting, and I distanced myself from her for quite a long time until she, it wasn't that much longer after that she actually did apologize, and she felt really bad, and I could tell she was genuinely very sorry. And so I did allow her to become friends, to be friends with her again, but I kind of was more distant, and I definitely didn't hang out with her like that anymore. But I did remain friends with her at school, to some extent. But we did have different friend groups, but yeah, so that really affected me, and I was so wrought with guilt over having allowed myself to be in those situations, and for that to occur, I felt like my innocence was stolen from me because of my naivety, because of, you know, trying to I don't know, just not even, I don't want to even say fit in, but just be with be with my friend, right? And not discern that, you know, this wasn't a good relationship, this wasn't a good situation to allow myself to be in, and especially the second time that it happened, that I allowed it to happen twice, it just finished me. I just was so raw with guilt, and so I finally worked up the courage to tell my parents, which was very difficult because I knew how they felt about it and how they would feel about it, and you know, it was a difficult thing for me to do. But when I did, they really met me with so much love and forgiveness and understanding, and I really felt forgiven. I really felt accepted and loved, and it was very healing. And it was really good because I felt the Father's love and heart and forgiveness in that situation. And so it really helped me to realize that, you know, God still loved me. He had grace for me, and, you know, it was behind me. And so I was able to move forward from that. And so I'm really thankful for that. So that's it for this video. And I'll see you in the next one.